Hi everyone! Today Fellas, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a fire. Fire is so central to human survival that, in my opinion, if you're living on this earth as a human and you don't know how to create a fire, like, what are you even doing? So, what you're going to need for this, not a whole lot of stuff. We're going to use a ferro rod like this. This is made of ferrocerium, and you can strike it with a piece of metal. It'll make a really hot spark. This particular ferro rod is going to cost like $10. I'll link it in the description. 10 to 15, I don't actually remember. And then you're going to need a knife just to collect wood. Doesn't need to be anything special. And that's basically it. That's the bare minimum. So, let's go. So you're going to want to find a tree like this. This is not absolutely necessary, but this is a great way to do it with natural materials. This is a birch tree, and this stuff, especially if you get the nice thin pieces, this is not actually a great tree for it, but if you get nice thin pieces like this, which I've already collected a bag of, these will catch a spark from the ferro rod very well, and they'll stay burning for a long time. Okay, so this should go without saying, but you want to have dry wood. We had some rain recently, so this is a little wet. This is dead stuff anyway. Ideally, oh, see, this is dry in the core. What you want to find is ideally you want a dead tree that is still standing. If you have a dead tree that's fallen, that can work depending on how freshly fallen it is. But a dead tree that's still standing, whether it's rain or snow, it's not going to be collecting as much moisture as the dead tree that's on the ground. So a dead tree that's falling is going to be super dry because it's dead, and also because it hasn't collected moisture. This is fallen dead wood, but it is pretty dry even in spite of the recent rain. So for bigger pieces, sometimes you might want to use I don't know, if you have like a little hatchet or whatever to chop it. This is not essential, and honestly I'm just chopping to get a feel for this knife because I still haven't gotten many opportunities to use this because I got it fairly recently. If any of you guys are wondering what this knife is, this is a Joker Nomad. I'll have a link to it in the description. Alright. Here we go. So, you want to have sticks of all sizes, ranging from like little twiggy stuff, which is just a little bit bigger than your birch shavings, all the way up to bigger pieces like these, and sometimes even really big logs, depending on how large you want your fire to be and how long you want it to last. All those variables. To find a good twig, you'll know they're good twigs to burn when they snap crisply off rather than bending. See that? See how crisp that was? If they bend, that means they're still green and they were recently alive and they're still full of moisture, which means they're going to take a long time to catch fire, which is not what you want, because the twigs are what you're going to use to be starting the fire. I would advise you, just from personal experience, always gather more small twigs than you think you need, because you go through a lot, especially if your fire is stubborn. It's not starting easily. You want to have a lot of small twigs. Or if your big logs are a little bit wet, then that means it's going to take more small twigs to burn them for longer, to evaporate all the moisture inside and allow them to actually start burning. Sometimes that takes a really long time if it's wet. So this is a good amount of wood for my purpose, which is just making a little cup of tea. But make sure you've got enough for what you need it for. So next we're gonna grab our little bag of these. And then in here we have water for putting the fire out later. And we have our canteen cup. So I'm not saying this is the perfect way to do this. There's definitely other bushcrafters on YouTube that could, even to call myself YouTube bushcrafter is kind of ridiculous, but will tell you different and possibly better ways to do this. But in dry conditions, which is what I'm doing right now, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So I'm starting with a base of some of my smallish sticks. And then on top of that, I'm gonna put some of my birch bark. So I'll have some bigger pieces. Ooh, that's a long strip. Some bigger pieces down here. Little bundle, tuck it nice. And then I'll grab from the bottom of the bag where this is kind of settled, I'll grab some of the finer dusty bits. Let's kind of sprinkle that on top because it's the fine stuff that's really going to catch a spark. A big piece like this, you will be very surprised at how long something like this will burn for. So, if you don't have that kind of thing, if you don't have any like birch bark to work with, you can make similar shavings by making a feather stick like this and just kind of gently scrape off the surface of the stick. Just get like these little shavings, and it'll take a while, but eventually you have a lot of these, and these will catch a spark from a ferro rod as well. You don't need a big knife like this. You can use, I'll use my pocket knife too. You can, okay, this is a different type of edge. You'll find different knives are better than others, but that's basically what a feather stick is. Grab those shavings, put them over here. Okay. So now, the ferro rod, there are a few different ways to strike this, and there are a few different kinds of ferro rods. I've actually brought another type with me. You'll see these generally coming in like these pre-made survival kits, which if you do buy one of those, I'd recommend buying from a reputable brand because a lot of them are just trash, trying to fill up a bag with as much junk as they possibly can. But I also have a striker for this. This one was pretty decent actually. You can see how thin that is. I've used this a lot. There are multiple ways to strike your ferro rod. I wouldn't recommend using these to start out just because of how small they are and how difficult it is to get a spark off of it. So I'd recommend starting out with one of these, especially if it's your first time. Now you can strike it with the with the back of a knife like this, and you'll get a spark like that as long as your knife has got a 90-degree angle on the spine of it. But what I find to be actually really good for this is the salt. This was my first pocket knife actually. This looks like a bag of weed. It's not. So we're gonna take this, like a Swiss Army type knife, and then you can, as I said, you can strike it with anything. This striker actually tends to work pretty good. I can actually, that might be better for this confined space. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take it, hold the striker directly over your what you're using to start it, and then I'm gonna move this rock so that I have a little bit of room for myself. And then you're gonna not move the striker forward, but you're gonna pull the ferro rod back. That way the sparks are all gathering under here and they're just falling basically right onto what you want to be burning. So this, okay, the knife is better. This is going to be incredibly frustrating when you first try. I'm still not great at this myself. But trust me when I say this is one of the objectively most reliable ways to start a fire. Oh, we almost got one that time. There we go. Now, once you get a flame, you gotta work fast, but not too fast, to get some of your driest twigs right on top of it. If you need to, you can feed it with some more birch. Just make sure it doesn't blow away while it's burning, because something that's blowing in the air while on fire, goes without saying, that's pretty dangerous. So you be patient. You don't want to put too much stuff on, but you want to put enough. Once your twigs are burning, then you can relax a little bit, but you still got to keep moving to ensure that your fire is established. Once the fire can go for like 5 minutes unattended, that's what I call an established fire. Until then, you have to be giving it basically constant attention to ensure that it's working. If you don't have twigs, you can use something like this. You can split apart a bigger log and use the dry bits on the inside as like thinner pieces to kind of simulate using twigs. So I'm going to give this a little bit of time. As you can see, right now it's the twigs that are burning, so we got that part. Put some of my smaller stuff on. So far we're doing good. Give it a little time to establish itself. Now this is a little bigger. Put that right across. And then next up, I'm gonna use this. And then we're gonna move up to some of our bigger ones. And eventually, it's gonna be big enough for me to make a little cup of tea. Make like a little, almost like a little tripod right there. Alright, so while I'm waiting for this to like settle down a little bit, I mean, just to get down a little bit so I can put the tea on, I'll give you a couple other tips. If you have wet conditions, these tea candles are extraordinarily cheap. And so basically in wet conditions, if I was trying to light this and it was a little bit wet on the outside, I would need to have a flame against it for long enough to evaporate all the water off, to dry it completely out before it can even start to heat up and burn. So if you need a small flame like that that's sustained for a very long time, I highly recommend using these little tea candles. They're excellent for wet conditions, especially if you guys are in like Florida or something trying to do this stuff. You guys are dealing with a lot of rain down there. You got a lot of wet in your forests, so you're gonna need that. You don't need it, just makes it easier. So what I'm gonna be using to make the tea is I have the canteen cup in here. So this is actually a military surplus canteen. This is a U.S. military GI canteen that I got from Sportsman's Guide. And then I bought this canteen cup separately, which I think this is kind of a neat thing for bushcraft, because you can have it on a flame like this, and this is made of stainless steel. You can boil your water to purify it, or you can, it's big enough for you to even be able to like cook a little bit of soup in there, really whatever you want. Okay, so it's burned down a little bit. Once it's been there for a while, see you're starting to get some ashes at the bottom. This will start to emanate a lot more heat. Like my thighs are actually kind of hot right now. It's a little nice actually, because I was hiking a lot recently in New Hampshire. I'm still a tiny bit sore. This one I think I would like to split. Where's my knife at? Just wedge that guy in there. Do a little batoning. I am a professional. Oh crap, that's actually going down. Okay, wait. Captain America. Wait, Zachary, if you're Spider-Man, can I be Captain America?
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, so I think I rescued it, but that was actually kind of sketchy move I did there. I let it burn down a little further than I should have. But while still allowing it some room to breathe, I'm gonna set these bigger guys on there. These beefy boys. And we're gonna wait for those to catch. And then I'll get my tea on. So as you can see, I've put a little bit more stuff on. And here we go with the tea. So I'll put that's probably a pretty good amount. A little more. There we go. Buying military surplus I find to be a generally good idea. This is just a good way to get good cheap stuff. Actually, I'll wait for it to heat up a little bit first. So I actually probably should have come up with some way to get this on a longer handle, but for now, oh, look at this poor snail. He's like,
Hey, where? Oh.
getting roasted down there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tea is gonna go right here, where it should heat up pretty nicely. I found these rocks I can use to steep it with. Anyway, this looks hot enough. Alright, so I'm gonna leave that there. I don't want this hanging too close to the fire where it'll burn. And now I can put, that's hot. I can put some of these flat rocks sort of on top. Alright, and when you put out your fire, I don't have a ton of water left. You're gonna wanna just make sure you hit all the spots that would be hot. I'm gonna still be here, but if you're gonna leave your fire unattended for a while. So, you should make note of the fact that putting a fire out produces an insane amount of smoke. Wish I had sunglasses or something. Alright, I think it's cooled down enough. Cheers. Alright, so hope that was helpful for you guys. Special thanks to Zachary Silva for filming the video. If you want to go check out his channel, you absolutely can. He does a lot of filmmaking stuff. He has way more subscribers than me. Go look at his channel. And then, if you liked any of the stuff that you saw me using in this video, I'll have affiliate links for all that stuff and more in the description, so you can check those out. And if you buy one of the things, if you really like it, through the affiliate link, then I'll actually get a small percentage of the money from that, which is nice. Nice little way to support the channel. So, with that, so long fellas, stay based.